Hey, Danny and Mike listeners, before we get to the episode today, I wanted to ask a favor. Our new network, the Last Podcast Network, is doing a survey which will in turn improve the content that you hear. It only takes a minute, it's all confidential, and it's just some questions about your listening habits. You can find the link in our description of this very episode.
The world was so big, and I was so small. Your voice was always the loudest of all.
Gentlemen, look at us, we're back on the road!
You make it sound like a surprise every time.
I know, it's been fun though, guys. We're still...
The Road Mini box set continues.
Yeah, right. This will be out, this will be a limited edition. Or just available for free on the internet. One or the other. Gentlemen, what are we covering in this beautiful episode? We're going to talk about two places.
Our post-Chicago Odyssey, we set out back east towards home, but we stopped before we got there.
Right.
Way before we got there. In a little town called Mishawaka, Indiana.
Who knew that Mishawaka was almost South Bend, but not quite?
Who knew that I would pen the immortal song, I left my phone charger in Mishawaka.
I left my phone charger in Mishawaka.
That's what happened.
My phone charger in Mishawaka.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad.
Help yourself. It's a high-quality phone charger, I'm sure. Gets kind of hot.
Oh.
Hope it doesn't start no fires.
Yeah.
Well,
speaking of fire, let's get this thing going. Welcome to the Adventures of Danny and Mike. In front of me right here, Mr. Michael C. Morona.
Speaking of fire, let's light this candle. Would have been better.
There you go. Or Candle. To his left, Mr. Danny Tamborelli.
if there's smoke coming out of the back of this minivan, it means the oil is burning.
And my name is Jeremy. Thanks so much for tuning in. Let's hope that is not the case, Daniel.
No, all things go in this flex fuel car. We got to put 85 with ethanol in it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
We're not getting any money from the farm lobby and the corn lobby to say so either.
Boys, there is a Waffle House to our right. No pressure. We could just cancel this pod and scatter, smother, and cover it.
No, thank you. No, one's good.
All right. Well, we're here talking about a couple shows here. We did a show in Mishawaka and a show in Bloomington. Bloomington, of which I almost OD'd on cheese curds.
Well, let's get right to Mishawaka was fun. Thank you to
Mish
Smith's downtown.
Bill Fincaid and Smith's downtown.
Yeah.
And Mikey Tricks.
And the girls playing the trivia game who told me to leave because I would get them kicked out of the trivia game.
Oh my God, that was so good. Mike kept going over to people who were, we play such great places that, sometimes we play venues where trivia is going on
there was
below
a pub
where we
quiz
are.
going on downstairs and we were playing upstairs.
And Mike was trying to recruit more people to come upstairs, and he kept going over to this table of ladies and, was trying to convince him to come upstairs, and they kept telling him to go away, but in a very, Midwest polite way. Right?
It
How'd
was
they
great.
do it?
This girl said, you got to leave or we're going to get in trouble.
Is it the first time you've ever been kicked out of a trivia night?
Well, I haven't tried to get into too many, so probably I left before I got kicked out. But I did get harangued by the boss when I went back for my third helping of giving them answers for free.
Was it you should think about doing Simpsons trivia. I bet you would be good at that, right?
I've heard that Allie Gertz and does it somewhere in LA, and I'm sure there's a Simpsons trivia at
I'm sure
Videology or something like that. Maybe
Videology.
Pilot does it or somebody like that. No idea. Let's be honest.
Well, after we get you an Instagram account, we're gonna figure that out. Get you signed up.
Not happening.
Okay.
There's an older woman that has come to every show I've ever done in Mishawaka with the band, and she finally got a chance to talk to Mike, and Mike wasn't having it.
Wow.
She's very annoying. She's a very nice lady.
She listens to the pod, I guess.
No,
You're done
she
now.
doesn't listen to the pod. Someone might tell her though. She's just very up in our faces, and she wanted Mike and I to take a picture with her of us holding her up, and we said we didn't have insurance, and God forbid she fell.
We jointly decided against that.
That's
we convinced her to lie on a pool table instead.
And we covered her with money.
No, we didn't.
You don't remember that? You know she's going to digitally put the money in now.
No.
Yep.
No, I did take her wallet, though, and I looked like I was rummaging through her purse.
Oh, yes, I do remember that shot.
That was the picture that I wanted her to have.
Yes.
You know, on this tour, during some of the Q&As, you guys have done a great job of sort of setting the groundwork as far as like bad questions, because there are some of those over the years that you've gotten like, hey, Danny, you still have the tattoo? Which is just not a good question.
Oh, one sec, Jeremy.
Oh, hit me.
Bird of prey.
Okay.
Keep going.
What kind of it? So my point is, maybe that's the first of photos. You know, you just say, okay, number one, we are not picking you up.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a good ground
rule. We
rule.
could do that.
New rules.
We have like a rules, you know, like trying to get on a ride on the boardwalk. You have to be this tall. If you're this young, you're accompanied by this parent.
And if you yell out Harvey Weinstein at me during the Q&A session, Carla, I'm going to continue to mercilessly mock you the rest of the show.
Valid.
So don't do it.
Valid. So that's the other thing. Number two.
Mishawaka had a lot of fans that brought their own stuff from home for us to sign, and in some cases, their own stuff that they printed out at work.
Right. Yeah.
Correct.
Baseball cards, I feel like, was one
With
of them.
the logo,
baseball cards
with
were
the logo
in
cut off.
Amityville.
Oh, Amityville.
With the logo cut off, so they fixed the logo themselves, and we were
Right.
happy to sign everything that they brought. One at a time, of course, not with some sort of robotic auto signer.
And not while holding anybody, because that's off the table.
No.
We don't have
Didn't
insurance
wanna
for
do
that.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, how are we going to, pay for Jeremy's eventual execution?
Or medical bills.
I'm saying we won't have to if you can't pursue a dead man.
Well, you can, actually. The dead man, all my expenses just go on your guys' account, because you're my...
I don't have an account.
No, the Danny and Mike account. So
I don't have that.
right.
That doesn't exist.
That will go right to your...
Instagram? See, that's where I'm insulated because I don't have one.
well, you need
So
one.
Mishawaka happened,
That
And then
definitely happened.
We got the hell
and
out of
then
there.
we
the
decided to
road.
go back west because we love Chicago so much.
We decided to cross back through the time tunnel and change time zones yet again in Bloomington, Indiana.
You know,
Lovely Bloomington, Indiana.
Sometimes you
No,
just
Illinois,
can't.
right?
You just can't
Thank you. Not
get everything to route perfectly, guys.
Yeah.
So I had to go back a little bit. But we were
Bloomington,
going south,
Illinois.
which got us closer to our next stop, which was Indianapolis.
It turned out that Bloomington, Illinois had the perfect place to watch the Liverpool PSG game at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, and that was Muggsy's in Bloomington, Illinois, home of the best wings in
Bloomington, I'm
which
told for
is
many
no
people.
mean feat, which is no mean feat because it is a college town.
Right.
It was very good. Those wings were very, very good.
And so was the game. The game had some high moments and some low moments, a great moment at the end when Liverpool won the game. And
in the last few seconds, I think, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
And I had a cider, and there was definitely some cheese there was cheese on the menu, right?
Yeah. There's cheese everywhere. There's fried cheese everywhere.
We've
in the Midwest.
been covered with cheese, and to top it off, I got a phone call from my doctor.
What's your doctor saying?
She's saying that your cholesterol's way back up.
Oh,
your liver's
no.
back to normal, but your cholesterol's way back up. So no more statin drugs. In fact, none of us should be taking statin drugs. They're not good for you people. I don't know how many of our audience that applies to, but we hate that brand. Fuck statin drugs.
And fuck Nestle.
You can fix it with diet, and apparently I have to, but not when I'm in the Midwest because all I keep eating is pizza and fried cheese. And wings.
The fried cheese is something special. Cheese curds, fried cheese curds, if they're done right, are really, really
delish.
good.
We
but
had
they
some
always
great-
still hurt and the next day.
Yeah, we had some great impactful evenings maybe where we didn't feel like we were getting anything through, and maybe we're just going to sort of hold on to them until tomorrow or the next day.
Oh, the cheese curds.
Oh, cheese curds.
Oh, no. I thought I could handle a couple orders of them, and I got through about 3/4 of one and was miserable afterwards.
The spot was really cool in Bloomington, Illinois. It was this little brewery.
We went to the night shop, which is where we played. Yeah. We ate at the night shop.
Pre-Muggsy's, we all visited a great record shop over there, and I looked at my watch and said, "It's getting close. I'll leave you boys to it. You buy your records, and I'm going to go watch some soccer.
Dan, what's in your bag?
And you did. I don't know. It's all back there. Why don't you read it?
Oh, I
did get a good.
You guys did some Bowie digging, and
I got a good X record. Got a 7 Seconds record.
I got the old Young Americans by David Bowie for $5. Changes to by David Bowie for $5.
You Bowied out pretty hard.
I'm pretty light on the Bowie though, so it's working out well. Let's see what you got here. Yep, Under the Big Black Sun by X.
Yes.
That was your piece de resistance.
That was the non $2 buy.
7 Seconds, The Crew.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see.
Let's
see that was. 7 Seconds
Music.
record.
It's a good one.
What's Roxy Music? I don't know what that is.
Oh, that's good.
Roxy Music?
That's what Brian Eno's
That's a
band.
Brian Eno
Brian
band.
Eno. All right.
After.
The Waitresses, Herbie Hancock.
Waitresses I had to get because, I don't need to hear the Merry Christmas song. Well, I guess I missed this one this year. But the drummer is the drummer from Television on that.
And you also got Build Me Up Buttercup in here, which is
Yeah, I brought that. I got that for the missus.
absolute classic.
I got that for the missus. She'll like hearing that on the stereo.
Nice.
Yeah,
Do you guys spin records?
Yes, we do. What else? There's a couple others in there, right?
Yeah, there are a couple others.
Son of Schmielson. Did I?
The
See,
Roches.
sometimes. Oh, the Roaches. Yeah. I went hard. in the late 70s, New York era.
Listen, when you find a bargain bin, you.
Yeah, you find what they're good at, and you take the stuff.
That's right.
You don't unless you
go with the
you
flow.
only get a couple ones that you can find everywhere. There's a lot of similar $2 records that hang out in every bin that you pick up when the crate is light and you didn't get all the good shit that you thought might be in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I get records, guys.
Okay. I mean, it's valid. It's a valid way
how
to
many
sort.
times are you gonna flip past Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band record before you actually get one because you see them in every bin?
Yeah, they're plentiful.
All the records that sold millions and millions of copies are mostly in these record bins now. So
look for them, people. They're out there.
Look for the good ones, and if you can't find them and you have a limit and you want to hit your limit, then start buying the ones that you don't have that you like.
Bird of prey.
Gosh, here we go again.
Boy.
I don't see what the problem is.
Big shout out to Bloomington, Illinois, because
Big shout out to the
really
Birds of Play of Bloomington.
They really brought it on a Tuesday night. We hadn't had really seated event like that. We had tables for this show, but it was still cool.
Yeah, very, very, very good beer. Shout out to the Circle, to the Black Circle Brewery.
Nope.
No, again, the night spot.
Night shop. Man, it's hard to keep all of these organized in my head here.
That's cool. But the next night we did go to the Black Circle Brewery, which was a metal bar brewery, and hosted Mutoid Man, which we saw some cool posters in the back, so we knew we were in good company.
Yeah, once they've cleared the air of the Mutoid Man, we got up there and rocked it ourselves. Probably not as hard as the man.
No, but I mean, we can never go as hard as you day one breaking your foot.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's where Scoots was born, right in this era right
Black
here.
Circle.
Right.
Black Circle had the what's it called? Where in a couple of video games, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, they had some video games. They had this one boggled my mind because the outside was The Simpsons, but the inside was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
It's just a metaphor, bro. They're the same game.
Right. No, I get it. I just, I was looking forward to playing the Simpsons game.
As was I.
You're talking arcade, not pinball?
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
talking arcade.
Okay.
They did have a few pinball games there as well. It's a really nice spot.
I'm going to have to get a pinball machine in the old Seltzer King studios. What do you think about that?
Wow. So please donate to our Patreon account, which is...
Patreon.com/DannyandMike with the and spelled out.
Right.
There you go.
And help us get that pinball machine we've always wanted.
Achieve that pinball machine because it'll be it'll be a milestone.
This show featured a band after we did our shtick.
And they were called the Blowholes.
Maybe.
Let's just say that.
and they played a bunch of great 90s rock tunes and opened and closed the show with Hey Sandy. So not only did the people get a nostalgia-filled evening of conversations and games and
photo zones, face painters,
they also got Hey Sandy live and in person.
Twice. Sand art.
Oh yeah, sand art, stretchy Pepsi bottles, the big chair photograph,
the square mirrors.
We didn't have any of that, folks.
Peruvian pipe band.
Yep.
Birds of Prey.
We did have more. I saw a new petunia in a spot that I don't normally see on a bicep.
Oh.
This girl had a petunia tattoo. I posted it on my Instagram.
Yeah, she had a cool one.
She had a very, very beautiful petunia tattoo, and it was just right on her bicep. Thought that's a good place to put it.
I think
we met some cool roller derby people there.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good experience and some nice audience.
That's right.
Yeah, Indy was cool, man. I've never been there. I've only ever driven through and stayed one night because we couldn't continue to drive to Pittsburgh because Richard Lloyd was being such a bitch.
Oh, the memories.
Dan, I have to stop. I can't go any further.
I'm reading books about science.
You're not driving, Richard. I can get us to Pittsburgh. I gotta stop, please.
Maybe he had to pee.
No, he was just being a curmudgeon old fuck.
Were you driving in a minivan like this?
Goddamn right I was.
Oh, Lord.
Well, what was, as far as Jounce tour goes and Danny and Mike tour goes, what is the pee ratio? Do you think that we pee more? Do you think Jounce pees more?
I think it's you
easier.
guys are holding out a little bit more than Newsy's got a tiny bladder and he's got to pee a lot. And back in the day, I used to be a real dick and just be like making good time, doing a dad thing.
You were doing a King O'Frod.
I would see if he was like, not paying attention, didn't see an exit. I'd be like, I can get past this, and he'd be like, oh, sorry, man, we just missed one.
Did you ever?
But I don't do that anymore because that's not fair.
Did you put the butt warmer on him too to kind of like exacerbate the situation?
No,
I imagine that would be awful.
No.
My mom is famously known as being someone who has to stop on family trips pretty often. And when Dan and I went cross country, the trend started where I was like, I have to pee every hour. And of course, I got used to it. I got better.
On the hour?
Yeah. But now it's...
oh, yeah. I made a Vine video telling you how to check your prostate.
Check your prostate. God, missed that Vine videos.
Yeah, I think you guys have been pretty good. And I'm drinking more water.
I've been regular about peeing around, pretty much around the clock at the same clip.
Yeah. At some point, we've synced up our pee cycles, which is a nice thing, or horrible.
It's all we have. No, it's all we have.
Yeah.
Our pee cycles were so synced that I had to go down to the lobby and use the bathroom because I had to go so bad and someone else was in there.
You're not going to name names. I'm glad.
Well, the process of elimination, Scoots.
Wasn't me.
Yeah, nothing was scooting out of you, that's for sure. It was taking a long time.
Yeah, some cheese made an impact there in the Midwest.
Yeah, for the listener,
never
Jeremy's eating a grilled cheese sandwich on 70% of these shows.
Yeah, it's and I actually did a good dent of shrimp and grits.
That is true. You had several, yeah. Which I guess, if you're going to get grits, it's the place to get them.
Hey, for the listener, we're driving from Ohio, Pennsylvania.
Yay! What else we got to say about these three beautiful stops that we made here in the Midwest?
I mean, pretty much saying the same thing we've been saying in these other notes from the road, that these shows have been really great and super fun, and we didn't know what to expect when we decided to do this, and it's been really great.
There were a couple of awesome fans who wore exactly the right color shirt to blend into the photo zone. And we did. When they do, we salute that effort, and we tend to give them what we call a creep around.
Okay.
We've copyrighted this photo move.
Yes.
And explain that a little more. That's where the plaid shirt's in the middle.
Our photo zone has a big plaid backdrop. Little Pete hat plaid backdrop.
Buffalo
just
plaid.
Really laying it on thick, as they say.
Okay.
And when kids come out to the show, some of them have these Nick Box hats, which has a little Pete hat in it. Some of them have actual, Buffalo plaid hats and shirts.
And they blend.
And they blend in, so we make the joke
introduce
that
them to
we can green screen them.
a
them
local
out.
graphic computer app will help them to plaid screen in their favorite backdrops, so they can put themselves anywhere. Delaware, Bangkok,
Yeah.
anywhere.
Well, gents, Mike, you got any last final thoughts here before we wrap up this little minisode?
Thank you for the pretzel bites. They were so good. And Dan said that I got ham hocks. I'm sure my doctor shouldn't be listening to this.
Yeah, you definitely shouldn't be in those ham hocks.
Okay. Well, I won't. But they were good when I had them.
I will say there will not be another cheese curd coursing through my body for a long time.
Oh no, the missus is going to be checking your blood when you get back.
Yeah, I know. She's
You're gonna have. You better have a
I
dip.
don't even
a
get to say
dipstick.
hello to her. She just sticks me.
Yeah, exactly. She just
takes my
sticks
blood.
you.
She goes in for a hug,
That's
but then
how
just
it
writes
is, yeah.
back.
Ow!
Sorry, honey, just needed a sample.
The stool is next. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for tuning in. We got a few more of these notes from the road, so check those out
And protect the brand.
Protect the brand. Make sure to protect the brand, and by doing that, you'll go. If you go to DannyandMike.com, we got some all new merch on there, so check that out.
Oh yeah, we do.
DannyandMike.com.
With the and spelled out.
Got some really cool stuff that we had on the tour, and check us out on Patreon. Patreon.com/DannyandMike with
The and spelled
that's
out.
it, Michael. And what else?
Make sure
Michael's
you
at
listen to the Last Podcast Network.
Last Podcast Network. That's right, lastpodcastnetwork.com. So many great podcasts on that network that we love, that we're part of. Michael's handle is at Michael C. Marone on the Twitter. Danny's at Danny Tamborelli or at D Tamborelli on the Twitter, or at Danny Tamborelli on the Instagram.
There it is.
Figure it out. And I am at Jeremy Balin on the Insta or at Remy Balin on the Twits.
And he's got another podcast called Fresh Beef.
And I do have another podcast called Fresh Beef. We're a little behind, but yes, I do. But yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
The Adventures of Danny and Mike stars Danny Tamborelli and Michael C. Marona. The show is produced by me, Jeremy Balin. This podcast is part of the Last Podcast Network, which can be found at lastpodcastnetwork.com. Make sure to check that out for a ton of great shows. For more information on the guys, visit our website at DannyandMike.com. Also look us up on Twitter at Danny and Mike with the N spelled out, and on Facebook at facebook.com/The Adventures of Danny and Mike. Thanks for listening.